What has being an actor taught you about being a human being?
Is to develop some sort of empathy. And initially, you do that for very practical reasons, so that you can accept what's written in the script to be reality of that particular character. Slowly, you start to realize, ठीक है, ये empathy का होना अब जिंदगी में भी अच्छी बात है.
Yeah.
So, which is why when I look back at all the teasing that was done to me, I don't have any ill feeling towards any of those kids because they didn't know any better. But then I also realized that it helps me really, portray characters in a manner that's effective for me. I don't take up certain roles where I feel that I can't develop empathy for it. So I refuse them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not, I don't think I'm one of those who can do it. There have been parts where I feel like that I don't think I can, like Gulshan has an issue with accepting this person's reality that's written, so I kind of stay away.
So how does your journey as an actor and your journey as a human being overlap?
Like you experience something, like Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota, I was going through a difficult phase in my life. My marriage was not doing very well. I had broken my knee, I had major knee surgery. I had decided to take time off from work and I wasn't really sure how things are going to go. And I had some money, but not too much, which helped me pay for the surgery. But then like I saw this quote by Albert Camus that said that in the depths of winter, I find there lay inside me an invincible summer. That really resonated with me. And I was using that for the character of Curate. He's drinking himself to death. He's an alcoholic. He has no ambition. In that girl that he so cares for, in kind of saving her, he finds some new purpose in his life and that summer inside him that he wants to do it. That was like, this is so applicable for me also. I feel that in my life, whenever I felt really down and like I've been almost like come to like a brink of like, I don't know, if I like break down anymore, I don't think I'm getting out of this. I've always managed to, something has happened in my life or somebody's done something, like I'm really broke,
Life
then
shows
suddenly
up.
I get like a thing. Or I find some kind of courage and strength.
Also.
Yeah, it happens.
It just shows up. Like, I'm like, I don't think if I'll be able to pay maybe the next rent, but the rent after, and then some money will show. I'm like, what? Where did this come from?
But it's also not really as external as we think it is.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's also that summer, invincible summer that inside me, that is a spirit.
Yeah.
And I call that super gulu.
Oh.
It was not the name that I came up with.
So your spirit inside is called Super Gulu. Yeah. You know how as actors we have phases where we have these moments where you're like, maybe it's time to give it up. Like maybe I'm just, maybe I've done it. Yes, they tell me that I'm a good actor. Yes, they tell me, yes, I'm the last two to be selected, but then I don't get it. Maybe it's not going to blow up. Maybe I'm not going to crack it. What do you tell to that person? And if you've had those moments.
Yeah, lots.
What do you do in those moments?
Sometimes nothing. I just indulge in those thoughts and then I get tired of being so negative. And then I was like, fuck this shit. That's too negative. Let me do something positive. And it usually gets better. Like if I get out or meet somebody else or if I'm on set, it's like I'm rejuvenated. Like,
tell me one part that you wanted, you didn't get, and it really broke your heart.
I don't take it, things, because at some level, my understanding is like, I try and break it down as to what is this really about? You feel rejected. That's what it's really about. And how is this connected to you now? How is this connected to you when you were a child? Does this kind of have any significance, you being rejected as a child or as a partner or anything like that? All of those things. And I think it's important first for me to identify what is this really about? Yeah. Is this about somebody choosing somebody else or doing a favor or nepotism or like, what is this really about? What it really is about that you feel rejected. That's what most of the time is hurtful because I am feeling rejected because I didn't get a certain part. Yeah. It's that rejection. And then I have to remind myself of the fact that you're working in the arts. Yeah. Nobody can quantify talent, skill, a performance. You can't do that. It's impossible to be absolute about this.
But what do you tell? What is your mind? Like, what do you tell your brain?
Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally.
I try my best not to take it personally. And in most cases, I'm successful in not taking it personally.
Let's say, like I just want to add a
Even
nuance.
if it is personal.
I want to add a nuanced layer to it, where it is like, yes, I have been through 100 rejections, and I understand this is not personal. But what if I'm just groping in the dark? And this is really never going to lead anywhere. So then, I mean, what do you think
I fall back on my experience that I have felt like this before. I have overcome this. I'm doing all right. I did better after that.
That is
I feel like I'll be able to
amazing.
figure it out.
That
It's
is
okay. It's a setback,
Yeah,
but it's okay.
amazing.
And that is that spirit also. That's that invincible summer that I was talking about.
Yeah.
That
Oh, that
I
is
feel like
beautiful.
that. So I completely stew in my own like thing many times, and then I get really tired about like what the hell am I doing? I'm like
Yeah.
sulking so much. But yeah, you have to allow yourself sometimes to do that also. It's kind of constructive in ways, like if I'm not passing it on. Like if I'm stressing somebody out, it usually happens that you're talking about this to a partner and they get stressed out. A
Oh
friend
my
and like
God,
and
it's
they
so
start telling you.
difficult to be a
Yeah.
partner as an actor. Like it's
Yeah,
like
and then they're
so
like
difficult.
they want to like fix it or something.
And especially if you have a partner that's
yeah, and
also
you
an
don't
actor.
want them to fix. You just want them to listen. Yeah. And then we also try and do that. But
Yeah.
if I feel that this is going to stress somebody else, then I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't really talk about this. Just okay, fine. I'll just sulk.
Now I do it less, but I do make it personal. I'm like, it's almost like questioning my entire
See,
existence.
sometimes it's also jealousy because somebody who got it, which is very common in our line of work.
I think
It's impossible to like not face that thing, and you have to find constructive ways.
I think for me, jealousy is not very much the case because I'm like, yeah, but actor hai, or if there is one part and there are 5 people vying for it, one is going to get it. But I think I take it personal as in everything is wrong with me. This human being is wrong. this existence is wrong. Like maybe something is wrong with me.
I tried something. Like I went and told the people if I have access to them, I tell them. Like Rajkumar got a part once in White Tiger. I had auditioned for it and I had a great audition, so I almost made it. But I didn't get the part. He got the part in White Tiger. I was jealous. I'm genuinely jealous of Rajkumar's
You
career.
said it, yeah.
So I'm like, but I would tell him like, Raj, like, I tried out for that part. I really gave a good audition. The director gave such fabulous response to me also. But
I'd
like,
tell the
I'm so
director.
jealous you got this part. So I think it's kind of flattering also to the other person.
I remember watching this masterclass with Luca Guadagnino in Film Companion, and he said that every role that an actor plays is not just a character or a story that he's a part of. It's documentation of the actor's self-journey as well, which I do believe that when we look at our journey as actors through different characters, it's also a form of self-documentation, self-expression. Do you agree with it?
Sure, yeah, it is definitely. I mean, it's more so when I was younger
Actor.
than now. Yeah, I think it was because I was so self-conscious. It's definitely a way of expressing myself and feeling comfortable with being who I am when I hiding behind character. So you find some things from within you, and then you find some things which is in your imagination.
So tell me, for Mandar, what did you find within you?
I thought of Amol Palekar. I was like, if in the 70s this film was made, Amol Palekar would made. And he's a very likable, nice, like very next door.
That is so
something.
totally now when I connect to it, yeah.
And it was that reference. It was Amol Palekar because I had seen his films, and he has a certain he did a certain kinds of films, and mostly he played the average Indian man
Yeah.
who's
And very
looking for a
similar,
job
yeah,
or who's like trying to buy a house. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that milieu, it
Yeah.
really suited. That really helped me understand that milieu, that middle class milieu.
Interesting.
Maharashtrian
And for
middle class.
Shaitan?
And Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange. Now, sometimes it doesn't make any sense.
No, but it does make sense.
Malcolm
Yeah, it
McDowell,
does.
Yeah. It didn't. I wanted it to be a bit more of like a more anarchist-ish, but that's because of my lack of understanding of Bijoy's vision. I suppose I wanted it to be that way. But then he is a good enough director to sort of he got what he wanted. But I think that's the thing. That's an inexperience also. Like you have to understand how this storyteller is going to tell their story.
Some directors like have such great vision, but
Yeah,
so
some
they find it difficult to translate it through words to their actors. What
That's
do you
what-
do in that?
I don't know. See, watch their work, spend time with them,
Spend time with
try
them.
things.
Find and like
Yeah.
ask the right questions so they give out
like
the right
sometimes I'm
answers.
like, yeah, Gulshan, I don't know. Maybe this needs to be. Then okay, they're not able to explain it. Okay, fine. We can lose time. I can complain, or maybe I'll just go try something else. Then maybe see if you like it. And it's just like that. Break it down to like, I try something and they're like, yeah, okay, this is good. That's it.
What are the things that you're looking for when you do a character?
I have boiled it down to 2 things now. This is the general rule of thumb. One, there should be a genuine compulsion that I want to play this character. As in, it should excite me. It should be, I boil it down to good for craft.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Simplicity. Good for craft, Second one is good
money.
for career. Not money, career. Money
And
is,
what if one
money
is
is
lacking?
important.
Yeah.
You know, money is definitely important. But I have taken that equation out for a very specific reason. A good career will make you good money.
Yeah.
Sometimes doing a project, you maybe make a lot of money, but it may not necessarily be very good for your career.
And what is non-negotiable? Apart from these.
So far, I have not had to negotiate with outside of this. But if it comes, then I'm sure there'll be a really good reason.
I
for
recently
me to
found
sort
out
of-
my non-negotiable is propaganda films.
Okay.
Like, and then of course, depending on the times we live in, you have to decide the spectrum of that
Yeah,
propaganda, right? Like, is it like completely that, or is it like little bit here and little bit there?
Falls in the category on the first category for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, compulsion. Yeah, that's true. Actually, you've actually come down
Yeah,
to
it's
the
just
core of it.
I don't want anybody else to have the agency. Maybe I'm powerless. Maybe I don't really have a choice. But I want to feel responsible for my career. This is where the pragmatism kicks in, which I think I did not have when I was living in Bangalore. I was like, I have to keep my operating costs low. Money is important, right? But when you have money, you still have to be a little careful with it. Enjoy it. You should. You shouldn't feel like you're making money but not really enjoying the money. But at the same time, if you manage to keep your operating costs low, then you don't have to take up jobs just for money. I have no EMIs. I have no loans. Zero. Financial security is different for different people. So once I got to that level, during the lockdown, I realized that I'm okay. Like, I can't splurge money or everything, but I can pay the salaries for the two people who work in my house. For, I don't know, a year, 2 years, I can pay. I'll still be all right. If my family needs help, I have that. So I have enough for me to, and money is not coming in. Because I kept my operating costs pretty low right from the beginning.
When you decided to curate your career, was that also a conscious decision?
Very conscious. I think I was lucky that I got great directors to work with who took care of me, who gave me great opportunities. 2011 was my debut year. And then that got me a lot of attention, and particularly a film like Shaitan, it got me a lot of attention. But it was very similar roles. I turned on, and it was a risk. And many people, most of them were not upset actually, but some of them would say, like, Gulshan, this is the beginning of your career. You shouldn't say no to such things. But then I wasn't really working, and then Hate Story came. I thought it was a great idea. I wanted to do, and some people gave me flack for that also. It's okay. I'm not really bothered by it. It's always like, people have expectations that, I have expectations also sometimes, and that's my burden and not the other person's burden. But I did that and I enjoyed it. So I wanted it to be as diverse as possible, but it takes time,
Yeah.
It's a game of patience.
Like Cillian Murphy said, it takes 30 years to become an actor. You first learn the craft, then you learn the whole trade and the whole work around it.
Oh, you have to
and
learn
the
the
work.
trade. I think it's I'm glad you're saying this, because that's also one of the things that I observed, that I have no idea of the business works. No idea. Zero. I have to learn. And this is definitely an advantage that people have who grew up in the business.
In the business.
They know the business.
Yeah.
They know everything about the business. Even if they don't know things in detail, they understand.
They subconsciously know. They're part of their lived experience.
They know, most importantly, they subconsciously know how perceptions work. The importance of that. We don't.
Oh, wow.
We feel that being good is good enough. And we come and we realize that, there's more to it. Because it's subjective, no? It's the arts. How can you have meritocracy in the arts? How?
Can you elaborate on perception? Like, what do you mean when you say this?
Because you need people to have a good perception about you. If they have to hire you, give you an opportunity, let's say it's an opportunity, not a role or anything, an opportunity for you. What you make of that opportunity is up to you.
Yeah.
So if people they have to have some sort of, even when you audition somebody, they develop a perception from that. They might have tested your skills, whether this person has the skill set. And sometimes it's just like, can they look glamorous? Can they look not glamorous?
Yeah.
That also is a requirement sometimes, right?
Yeah.
The hair type, height, and all of those things. Like the aesthetics may be varied.
Yeah.
But again, none of these things are measurable.
Yeah.
They're not
quantifiable.
They're not quantifiable at all.
Yeah.
You and I can look at a painting and have
very different.
Opposing,
Completely.
And we both right and entitled to have that opinion. So then that's it. So that's what we are. We are always trying to have a consensus, majority consensus. That's what we want. So then, if more people are of the opinion that Sanghamitra is fabulous, then Sanghamitra is fabulous.
Even if Sanghamitra is fabulous. She is fabulous. Let's say a young actor came to you and asked you, I heard that podcast that you did, and you were talking about curation, and I want to understand. Could you, like, if you could give me a roadmap to it or a break?
Take interest in your career and learn about the business.
Yourself as well.
Yeah,
and
invest
who
in
you
yourself.
Are,
That's why I'm saying, which is why career is more important than money. If you want to have a good career, then you have to take interest. It's not your managers, it's not your mom and dad. Learn about the business, read your contracts, ask questions, observe things. If you have other people, like say for example, somebody else has had a good career, look at them. Why do they have? What are their choices? What could be the reasons why they're making the choices? Have an idea. You know, I saw this, I always give this example of Kartik Aaryan. Yeah. He knew what I wanted to be, even though he wasn't that. Yeah. After his first movie, he was not very successful. Yeah. His films, all the ones where he was dancing and he was like a typical Hindi film hero, they didn't really work. Including a film that he did with Subhash Ghai. It flopped. But he never lost. I feel that I don't know him really well, but wherever we used to meet, we used to ask, but he never lost touch of what he wanted to be, his vision.
How do I curate my journey as an actor as far as craft is concerned?
So really try and break it down. Break down a performance to as the minutest thing as possible and analyze it.
Yeah. Also, one thing I feel that is not often mentioned, which is that put also yourself in uncomfortable emotional situations.
Uncomfortable position. Generally, I would say
uncomfortable positions because it makes you really become aware of yourself in a psychological way that adds to the richness.
This is great because this is great you're saying this, because this is one thing that I have noticed, that the moment some people in their career they become a little comfortable, right? They become stagnant.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I don't want to take some names of some really good people who were so exciting to watch. The moment they became successful in a very conventional sense, they started making money, they bought a house, and they're like, films are coming. Their work is not exciting anymore because they're too comfortable. That's all right. Money is important, luxury, if you want to, like, go for it. Really reach out for it, go and try and pursue it and get it.
You know, there are some actors who have had a career, they now even have the money, but they're depressed or they're sad because films are not working out, things are not working out, or whatever. And then I'm like, but you have the visibility, you have the stardom, even if little, not big. Why don't you create meet people around you, create a project?
How many people who come and join this business really come because they want to be actors? Some do, yeah. I think, again, like I'm generalizing, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sort of like, categorize everybody, but most people come here to wanting to be really famous and rich and popular.
Become stars.
Yeah. That's what they come.
Which is really sad.
And a lot of them who accidentally became actors also, they learn some things, but then, and some even fall in love with the whole process and they become better actors also.
I have a question around that, and I don't know if I'll keep this in the final edit, I probably will, but for the sake of conversation, that Sushant Singh Rajput, right, star, even came across as someone who was really interested in doing new kinds of work, wanted to act. But he was like, what I heard was maybe there were other, of course, mental health issues and all of that. What kind of environment
we all heard
you live
a whole lot of things like that.
And that, he was being rejected, his films were not working, and that, he was getting roles that were taken away, and that put him in a really, not in a nice place. But my point was, you could have just gathered some of the best writers from around the world. I'm like, maybe I want to go the Cannes way. Let's make a film where I can make an independent film around it. I can get a crore, 2 crore, 3 crore budget, make a film. I know I have access to someone like Anurag Kashyap. And how do I do the reverse psychology of making a film that gets an entry into even the director's fortnight in Cannes, and then create a PR around it, and then suddenly you're the serious actor that everybody wants to work with?
I don't know him, and then we can only guess as to what could have been.
Just generally.
I can't do it. If you ask me, let me just take this on myself. I can't do it. I don't have the aptitude or the. I don't know. Push comes to shove, maybe I'll do it. But then if you ask me right now, I'm like, I don't have the capacity. See, I know I watched this film Mukkabas. It's a wonderful film, and I think one of the greatest male performances I have seen
in a long time
from any of my contemporaries. Vineet, he wrote that film.
Yeah,
he could do it.
Yeah,
and he also was going through this same thing in his career. Nothing is happening, not really going anywhere, and all that. So he decided to write. He had access to Anurag, who's sort of a relative to him, And then he helped him out, and then he put it together, and then that film came out. I really enjoyed it, and he was so good in that film. Very convincing.
I saw it too.
Yeah, he put in the effort. He was willing to, pay the price for it and all of those things, and that worked out for him. That kind of resurrected his character. It gave it some direction and some body, right? I don't think everybody can do that.
Why would you not?
I can't. Like even if I'm probably if I'm desperate, then maybe I'll do something else. But I don't know. See, hypothetical situation, maybe I'll do it. So, most of us will never get what we really want. We will never get. Particularly in this business, we will never. We may have good careers. We may make enough money to have a comfortable life and look after our friends and family and even be wealthy. But what is it that you really want?
What do
most
you
of
really
us.
want?
I'm not discussing that with anybody.
Okay.
It has changed. I'll just say that.
And
I'm not rigid about that. Life teaches you.
Yeah.
Circumstances teaches you. And definitely during the lockdown, I had a lot of time to sort of contemplate and reflect. And when Sushant died also, that compelled me to think about a lot of my goals and, have a different perspective on things. I like perfection is you never attain.
Yeah.
You should never attain perfection, but you should always aspire. So you will get better. So that's my perspective. You see how perspectives are important and how that kind of helps you. These are constructive, healthy perspectives. We can have this a completely opposing viewpoint, but what we're trying to do is like something good that
Aspiring
keeps us sensible and balanced and
stoicism, which is like
and not really lose the plot.
Plot,